This is it's a follow-up and some very, very good news from a man named Hans Niemann. You may not remember Hans, but he is the chess grandmaster who made headlines all around the world late last year when he was accused of cheating at chess by using vibrating anal beads.
That's right.
You don't forget a story like that.
Tremendous way to cheat. He put an anal bead where it goes.
And then the theory was other people would be watching the game either online or in person and suggest, like if you put his hand over the knight, it would go bzzz, and his butthole would buzz.
Goose him a little bit.
And then he'd move his hand down to the rook and hear nothing.
That's right.
So he'd move his rook.
Correct. And so every time he buzzed, that's a bad move. He'd hover over the piece and get advice from other great chess masters. He denied it so fiercely, he said, I'll play naked. They said, that won't matter. You'll have anal beads up your butt. It doesn't matter if you play naked.
Exactly.
Buzz his anus.
You think he put his hand over the pawn just because he wanted a little shock in there? Wanted a little something to play with?
Fun.
God, he's playing awful. He doesn't know what he's doing.
I don't care.
Look at that smile on his face. What does he know that we don't know?
He shouldn't be smiling. He's awful.
Magnus is not playing like a world champion today.
You're talking about Hans.
Excuse me, Hans.
Magnus is his rival.
Magnus is the rival.
Yeah,
Okay, right.
that's the happen. See, Hans, who's been playing chess since he was 8, beat Magnus in September, shattering Magnus's 53-game winning streak. And Magnus withdrew from the tournament and said, this guy cheated.
Yes.
And Hans, as Kelly said, look, I'll play you naked if you want. Complicating things is the fact that young Hans, who's 20 now, freely admits from the time he was 12 to the time he was 16, he cheated like crazy.
That's right.
Online only.
Great piece of that story. Well, once a cheater, always a cheater.
Right.
I heard.
They say, right?
But not in person. He said he never cheated in person.
Just online.
Yeah.
To make money or to raise his rankings.
He had to raise his rank. So I think he is a grandmaster now.
Yeah.
Anyway, 20-year-old Hans had sued 2 of his biggest rivals, including Magnus Carlsen, and another player, I believe, of Japanese origin, Hikaru Nakamura. He was suing them for $100 million, claiming those 2 other chess masters had ruined Hans' reputation and career. Now it appears Chess.com has cleared Hans of all the charges, saying there is no evidence he cheated at any of the in-person matches.
No beads were found.
No beats.
They looked.
This butt is clean.
Okay. It's out there.
I mean, the way, too, to figure it out is to put these 2 players with a chessboard in an empty room and one person to watch, some sort of a proctor, and let them play a few games and see how he does.
Well, they did play once after the allegations came out, and Magnus, who had lost, his streak, he's the guy whose streak lost. He simply knocked over his piece and said, I resign.
Oh, that's right. That was what a brazen move. He's like, I'm out of here. I'm not
playing this guy.
I'm playing anal bead.
Oh, butt plug. Butt plug Neiman.
I forgot about that, too. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to do this.
Maybe you could leave anal beads around and see if he recognizes what they are.
Right.
That's a lovely sculpture. Okay. He doesn't know what those are.
These are your parting gifts for all the participants today.
Yeah, but if he comes in and is like, if he comes in and is like, hey,
those are anal beads.
What are these anal beads doing here? You're like, aha,
we gotcha.
Busted.
That was the story that we had been talking about. That then later, I was in the aftermath of a good pickleball match in the parking lot. And we were talking about cheating fishermen. Remember, it was around the same time, those cheating
weights in
fish. And a lot of those guys were saying, hey, did you see about these fishermen? And then somebody said, well, what about what's going on in the chess world? And I said, anal beads. Well, they didn't know about
conversation stuff.
That was it. I mean,
he has Tourette's.
They had they didn't know that part of the story. They just heard some guy had cheated, and I said, anal beads.
It'll be fine.
Depending on what park you're at in town, did the light start flashing? Car lights.
Guys, come knocking on your
this
window.
way.
Anal bead guy over here.
Those cars just keep circling.
Yeah.
Their lights are on in broad daylight. What is
Yeah,
that?
there are,
Others know the code.
certain parts of town.
What's the sun visor mean?
Hop on in.
That's exactly right.